few aspects of our life that don't stem back to farming, where it was grown, who it was grown by. Our t-shirt made of cotton, and our coffee made from a bean. The list is endless, and I think the appreciation for it is important.
We're so far separated from where food really comes from nowadays. It's so easy to have your dinner pre-made for you. I think a lot of people don't even realize what's wasted and what isn't.
Agriculture in central New York and northern New York is a key part of our economy. A lot of folks don't get that. We grow it here. We should eat it here.
Any serious conversation about food is a conversation about agriculture and ecology. Sourcing responsibly is our main goal at the end of the day. Because the food was delicious in the first place, it's delicious when it hits the plate.
When we're actively engaging in our local food community, we see all of the time, we see the space, we see all of the effort that goes into growing our food, and it causes us to realize how precious and valuable that food is. I'm a program coordinator with the Syracuse University Center for Sustainable Community Solutions, and I focus on sustainable materials management. We have all of these materials that we send to the landfill and that we send to incineration that we think of as waste. But if we look at them just a little bit differently, we'll discover a lot of hidden value in there. The United States has a major wasted food issue. The USDA estimates that between 30 and 40% of all the food that we produce does not get eaten. That's an astounding number.
Out of that 40% of food that goes to waste, about 43% of that happens in the home. That's like going to the grocery store and buying 4 bags of groceries and just leaving one at the counter. That is a really big shame.
We have all of this wasted food, and at the same time, we also have a major food insecurity and poverty issue. When we waste food, we waste everything that's gone into the production of that food. So all of the land space that was committed to it, all of the energy, all of the resources. It's not just the food itself, it's all of that. And I think we tend to forget that when we're throwing food into the trash.
We wrote a grant through the Community Grants Program from the Pollution Prevention Institute. This was to really address that large percentage of food that is wasted in the home.
The pinnacle of this project was to bring the community together around a table and to discuss wasted food while they're actually having a meal.
There's already such a vibrant local food movement in the community of Syracuse. We started to tap into our network and we got in touch with Abigail Henson. And if you talk to anyone about local food in Syracuse, New York, she's a name that comes up.
My mom loved gardening because she loved that magic of putting something in the soil and watching it bloom. And I think even just that feeling, the connection of having my hands in the earth has brought me so much further along than I ever knew it could or would. I have my own little edible yard. I call it the smallest brassica farm in the universe. I think if everyone took a small area of their yard and made it into something edible, all of these small things can have the greatest shift. The name of my organization is LOFO, which stands for Love Food, Local Focus. I do end up playing so many different roles in the community. Dig them, cut them here, grow them to the size that you enjoy them. When Lisa and Jesse came to me a few months ago, they said that part of what they wanted to do in terms of awareness was create an event. The picture of what I do always looks a little different, but it is always connected to food and community.
Doing some research about the local food community, we discovered Mark Palu.
Mark Palu reached out to me from Farm to Fork 101.
I've worked with Mark Palu for Farm to Fork dinners. He asked me if I was available, and I love this kind of thing.
Farm to Fork 101 was started back in 2015, we really aim to connect local farmers, chefs, and consumers in different ways.
Mark does these community dinners on a monthly basis where he brings people together, pairs a Syracuse area chef and farmer, and they collaborate on a dish together and discuss the meal.
You know, I do a lot of these different events around the area, so my big thing is about education. We have a lot of great chefs, a lot of great farmers coming together to start a conversation about what you can do at home and how you can help the environment.
We have created what I think is a really cool way to serve a dinner to 100 guests. It's 5 chefs, 5 courses, 5 farms, braiding together the idea of what the farms have this late in the season, what may have otherwise been not used, and taking that and transforming it into something delicious.
It's tricky nowadays just because everything's so easy. It's so easy to have your dinner pre-made for you. Part of it like this is just giving people the knowledge of how to use the stuff that they get that they wouldn't think about using before.
Having this privilege to rescue this food and get it to people who need it is wonderful. However, it's also very frustrating, especially being a chef, when you see how much basic kitchen knowledge and skill has been lost over generations. My job at the food bank is product donations manager. So I deal a lot with manufacturing, grocery store chains, agriculture, wherever there might be surplus food. I've always had a passion to be resourceful and try to not waste. So it's just kind of a natural fit.
Peter Ricardo, he not only sees the incredible need from residents in central New York, he also sees the huge amount of food waste that is coming from institutions like grocery stores and food product manufacturers.
15 years ago when I started, we might have been rescuing 600,000 or 700,000 pounds a year. We now do close to 4 million. If you look at a carrot and you know that you can grate it, julienne it, dice it, puree it, you start to have a palette of what to do with this food.
At the end of the day, I mean, it's all about utilization. So utilizing whole vegetables. Also, that your food comes from a farm.
Love local, waste less dinner. Very excited about that. I'm paired with Grey Rock Farm. Because of what I do in the area we cover, I tend to work with large farms. But large farms are growing to a market. Smaller farms cater so well to the locale.
Having small farms, I think, is really important because they are not only taking care of the land around us, and in this area there's beautiful land, and the farmers really do a great job of preserving that. But also there's incredible food that you can grow here and that people can share and eat.
By having food nearby, it makes our communities more resilient. And by investing money into those farmers, it strengthens our local economy. You can find the farmers that are going to participate in this event right here in Syracuse, New York at our regional market. And you might even see some of the chefs there getting some of the produce for their restaurants.
We're trying to be farm to table and sustainable, so it makes a lot of sense for us to be a part of an event like this. We worked with Dan Button, who owns Gray Barn Farm in Tully. He's an awesome farmer. He grows a lot of our produce during the summer. We made a beetroot sorbet.
I worked with Angela at Old Fly Farm. She told me what she had available this time of year, and I picked out a few things that jumped out at me that I knew I could use all the different pieces of it. I'm making a dolma, which is grape leaves stuffed with rice and meat.
The other day we were at Urban Delights Farm. It's an educational garden run by Chelsea Jones. It's a very small plot of land and the amount of produce is impressive.
People might be surprised to discover all the bounty that still exists on farms this time of year.
She still had beautiful greens of every type, feel like it would be a disservice to not have some of this greenery for this dinner. It's too many good options. I am going to be using every vegetable I could gather and fashion it into a lasagna with a pumpkin ricotta. I couldn't not use everything Chelsea had.
We have a lot of peppers. As soon as we get a hard frost, that's going to be it for them.
He still had a lot of peppers. You know, they're a little different shape than they were when they were peak. We're going to do a little bit of a reconstruct on a BLT.
Leila and I cook our food all the time, but it's always really nice to have somebody else cook your food and just sit down and enjoy it, so we're looking forward to the dinner.
This dinner is going to be the culmination of a lot of effort. A lot of people coming together to grow and pick and prepare and promote and enjoy a meal all together focused around wasted food reduction. And I can't wait to see how folks engage and take the pledge to reduce wasted food at home.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to tonight. It's wonderful to see this many people in the same room that want to talk about zero waste, so I'm excited.
Gratitude is a word that I was reflecting on heavily when preparing for this. We're grateful for the food in front of us. We're apt to think more about it and use it wisely and consume it differently.
There are many things that we can do at home to help rectify this issue, and I know they sound very simple, but it takes a lot of commitment. Check your refrigerator and your pantry to make sure you're not accidentally buying something else that you already have. Figure out what you're going to have every night of the week. Talk to your family, talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors. Say, hey, did you know that we waste almost half of what we grow?
There's a lot of things in this dish that would have been thrown away in somebody's normal house or even at a restaurant. Whoever came up with this whole process, they had those scraps, so they cooked their domas and their vegetable stock. They had extra grape leaves, so they rolled them up and stuffed stuff in them. We're trying to get back to where we didn't throw stuff out because we thought the skins of the carrots were dirty. Most of the carrots in this dish, I kept the skins on them because you can wash them.
Typically, we harvest the kohlrabi as just the root or the bulb and then store it. So I rushed back out to the field and clipped all the leaves from kohlrabi that we passed up.
It's really great to hear different chefs flexing their muscles using the whole vegetable.
At the food bank, we try to make sure people stretch their budget. So I went to my favorite, the discount rack, you know, the stuff they marked down. And they had some cornmeal and they had some teff flour. So I thought, okay, that's, you know, half price, we'll get that.
I like the idea of less waste because it forces chefs to do more creative things.
You're going to see conceptually us saying goodbye to summer and hello to fall.
If you get to know all your perishable produce and the environment that it likes best, you'll have a better chance that it'll last until you get a chance to eat it. This is what I've found for herbs that you buy. Snip the bottoms off just like you would flowers, place them in a little bit of water, and then you can tent over a little baggie if you've got one and place it in your refrigerator. This has been in Lisa's fridge for how many weeks?
About 3.5 weeks.
Especially toward the end of the season, sometimes your produce is ugly, but it doesn't mean that what you have isn't really nutritious and can't be eaten in a delicious way.
I want to encourage everyone to start a compost bin. A lot of the stuff that you're eating right now came from compost that I added into the soil.
Whatever scraps are left are going to be brought out to our farm and recycled into the land. We're always trying to connect the community together and do more things. Thanks to all the chefs and farmers and these guys for putting this event on. It was a pleasure for us to be a part of it. So thank you all for coming out.
This event has been one of the most exciting things that I've ever been able to work on. The momentum behind our food scene and the excitement to learn more about it has really started to exponentially grow.
Now we're seeing a lot more happening. We're seeing a lot of great restaurants pop up, and it's really exciting. I think it's going to make this city a food destination.
Always a dream for me was to see, this kind of culture emerge where you'd have people eating very seasonally, and it wouldn't be in January and February, this sacrifice that you were making. Instead, you'd get into all the preserved stuff you had, and you'd get into like cured meats and things like that. That would be a dream come true if we started to see more and more of that stuff in the area.
As educators, we can only do so much and say so much. The reason we get up the next day and talk about it again, or create an event or write an article, is because we hope to have an audience that believes in it too.
Responsible, sustainable farming is a big deal. We only get one planet, so we should take care of it, right?